Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm having a glass of nice clean water. At least I hope it's clean. It did come out of the tap, but it went into a machine that does reverse osmosis. And I've added a bit of salt to put some minerals in it. And cheers. I mention this on the show because I imagine that a lot of people now are very wary about the sort of stuff that comes out of the tap. And why wouldn't you be? 10 months ago, an article was in The Guardian of all newspapers, telling you stuff that was pretty frightening. Let's have a quick look, if I can find the right button. Here we go. As you can see, it says this article is more than 10 months old. Forever chemicals found in drinking water sources across England. And it's not a surprise to, I think, a lot of people. Are people still using their taps if it's out there in the mainstream media? Look at this. Experts alarmed after potentially toxic chemicals detected in sources at 17 of England's 18 water firms. Why are we paying for the water if it's full of all of this nonsense? And the article goes on, as I say, this is 10 months ago. Potentially toxic forever chemicals have been detected in the drinking water in 17 out of 18 water companies. 11,853 samples testing positive, something experts say are extremely alarmed by, and they should be. And then the rest of the article, I'll put a link in the description. By the way, my links do seem to be working. So there we go. The article goes on. It says, we don't think anyone should be drinking medium risk water. The toxicology data shows the risk of health effects becoming more over time as PFAs build up in our body, says one of the chaps in this article. Anyway, I'll let you to read that yourself. And as I say, this is some time ago. And we know that the water is full of all sorts of nasty stuff, do we not? Which is why many of us are looking at different filtration systems, or we're looking at reverse osmosis systems, or indeed distillers. And each one has its merits on its own basis, but then you end up with some sort of water that has basically no minerals in it. And of course, you've got to put minerals back in. I put some Celtic sea salt in this one, and it's very tasty. And hopefully it's got rid of all those nasty chemicals which are making us ill. And so, it comes to the point where you start thinking about, well, why are we paying for this water if they can't clean up their act? Now, some time ago, you may remember that I had been looking at a way that one of my viewers had recommended for paying bills, particularly utility bills, in which you access the trust. Now, we talked about this on the show, and many people have been sceptical about it, and many people have said, well, does it work? And I was a bit sceptical, but when a bill came in, I thought I'd follow this process. I'll leave a link to the website that shows you this process. And I sent the document that I had to do in this certain way back. I heard nothing for 3 months. And then I got a letter from them. Well, it was another bill. And in that bill, it showed that the previous one, which I had effectively just used my signature to pay off the bill, if you like. I didn't refuse to pay the bill. And they must have accessed the trust, or indeed securitized the document with my signature. Now, I'm not 100% clear which version is true, but either way, one of those managed to pay off the bill, because the second bill that came in showed at the top a statement of previous bills, the last 2 or 3 bills, and there was the one that I had paid purely with my signature. So I thought, well, this is amazing, it bloody works. So I did make a video called It Bloody Works. At the time, that's on my Vogue Show channel, not this channel, because that was during the time that I was banned. And then with the second bill that came in, I thought I'd do the same again. Now, of course, because I made a video about it, a number of people have been challenging their utility companies, and I've had a flurry of emails from people saying, it doesn't work for me, they rejected it, and what have you. Now, I'd set a precedent. I knew that it worked because they'd accepted just under £300 worth. And I thought, well, surely it will work a second time. I'm now in sort of the same position as everybody else is who's saying it doesn't work, because it seems that these companies are pushing back and they're saying, oh, no, we can't accept this. So I'm in the process of argy-bargy. I'll make a video about all of that once I've sort of come to an end point. There's no point doing it now and tell you what I've done. But in the meantime, I want to read to you an email that came in yesterday from one of my viewers, and I'm not going to mention her name or indeed the companies involved, but I wanted you to see it because I think it is relevant in these times. So it reads as thus: I can report that my 2 latest utility company bills have been paid via my trust fund. I proceeded exactly as you set it out in your video, and having had a telephone conversation with a member of the credit control department, there is no question that they have been paid. Perhaps word will get round the staff at the utility company and they'll start using this method themselves. I shall start spreading the word in my Stand in the Park group. Now I personally know that it works. I have also sent payment to my water provider recently by the same method and will report back if there are any problems, but I don't expect any. So isn't that absolutely amazing? Now, a few people have said that they've had success, but more people have said they haven't. And clearly it does work. And you can see that these companies probably don't want too many people to do it. I don't know whether they're double dipping or what they're doing and getting payments twice, because maybe they're already getting paid through the trust, who knows. But the reason I made the video was purely because I knew a lot of people are struggling at the moment. The government doesn't seem to be helping. It seems to be doing exactly the reverse. The councils are not helping people either, taking them to court for non-payment of council tax and not really going into mitigating circumstances, and don't appear to have one benevolent body in their corporation registered on Dun & Bradstreet. And so it is left to us, we the people, to help each other as best we can. I think that's the most honourable thing that we can do. And if they are putting substandard water and they're pretending that it's perfectly okay and it's got all these weird chemicals, and you can have a look at that article, and I'm sure there's plenty of other articles, plenty of other analysis about what's in the water and what's making you ill or making you feel unwell, then why are we paying top dollar for it? Now, I don't mind really paying for the water that is coming in if I'm having to process it myself to be taken away, as in the sewage. I don't mind having to pay that. But what I'm not doing is saying I'm not paying for it. I just don't want it coming out of my personal funds. If there is a method, and it's perfectly lawful, and it does seem to be, to pay it out of a trust fund that was not set up by me, but I am the benevolent party in it. And if I'm the sole benefactor, then the trust is there in my name. The thing is, they don't tell you about it, and so therefore you're at a loss and you're having to pay these things out of, especially the out of your own private funds, especially the infrastructure that's already been paid for. You know, things like standing charges do make me livid, because you think, hang on a minute, what am I paying for? You put the infrastructure in many, many years ago. I'm paying this monthly standing charge for something that is standing there doing absolutely nothing. It may deteriorate over time, but not at the sort of amount that you're charging me. And so, you know, I think that we, the people, have to start putting a foot down. A lot of these things have been done with public money in the past, before many of these companies were privatised in the first place. So we've already paid for a lot of it. And if what we're getting is substandard or has already been paid for, then why are we paying again? Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Have a look at the article there. And I'd be interested to know in the comments, please. Try not to email me too much. I'm absolutely swamped with emails. And if you have emailed me recently, because I'm darting about here, there and everywhere and trying to answer as many emails as I can, you may not get a response. And I apologise for that. It's a one-man band, you know. And I'm doing my very best. But anyway, there we go. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you on the next one.